Welcome to the Baltimore Breakdown Podcast, featuring your mother's favorite podcaster, Ook, with Cakes Mitchell, baby.
What is going on, guys? My name is Cakes Mitchell.
Mi llamo es Ux.
And together
Mi nombre es Ux. Mi apologies.
And together we are the Baltimore Breakdown. Welcome. We have the Hall of Fame game
Sí.
went, and we got some RG3 played, Lamar Jackson played,
Sí.
Hayden Hurst played a little bit,
Sí.
but none of the starters, no Crabtree, no John Brown, no Snead. A lot of people didn't play, but we saw some players that we wanted to see play. And how was your weekend?
Así. Yo soy trabajo, hombre.
¿Dónde está la biblioteca?
The library? Where's the library?
So you do speak English.
Huh?
You do speak English.
I just worked, man. That's all I do. Work. 7 days a week. All day, every day, until I can pay these student loans off. If anybody listening has a rich Indian prince friend out there,
if anybody knows Aladdin.
Yeah, if you know Aladdin, holler at your boy, Ux.
All right, guys, we're going to get into the first topic today and talk about something that I think both of us have been wanting to talk about, and that is Lamar Jackson finally got his first time on the field. We saw him play a little bit, played the second half, and just talk about his performance and what we liked, what we disliked.
Boy, did he look good.
Oh, my God.
Man, that boy looked good. He was just... You get the sense that when he stepped out onto the field, he just commanded the entire stadium. Like, you know how somebody just, when they walk into a room, they have that charismatic presence? Mm-hmm. Where they just step in and you're like, that's the alpha. That's what Lamar Jackson did at the Hall of Fame game against the Chicago Bears. When he stepped on that field, he commanded the presence of that entire stadium, and you could feel it. You could feel it through the TV. It radiated. So I was definitely impressed with just his presence, his command in the offense. Everyone seemed to be excited and galvanized by his presence in the huddle.
Oh, my God.
What?
Continue, nothing.
He went down the field pretty much at will when his line held up and his receivers weren't conducting themselves as, invalids when it comes to tracking and attacking the football in the air. I mean, we'll just get this part out of the way right off the bat. The interception he threw, I give him absolutely zero culpability for.
Oh my God.
He had a man coming through free on the right side of the offensive line. It was piss poor protection. And that's a good use of alliteration to describe that piss poor protection there. And not to mention the wide receiver who I don't even know, and I'm glad that I don't because he should be cut instantaneously.
I didn't know who that was.
You're taught from a very young age at the wide receiver position to attack the football and not to stand idle waiting for it to come. The DB did a better job of attacking the ball than someone who knew what the route was and knew the break on the route. He just stood there, let him cut in front of him like a school kid at the lunch line, trying to cut in front of him like a bully would.
To be fair,
and none of that is Lamar's fault. He made
Lamar
the correct read
on the inside and not the outside. Quarterbacks are taught if you're going to throw it to a receiver on the outside, you lead them outside.
You never know how that play could have been designed. It could have been one of those option routes where it's a curl and then it breaks inside to an in. Either way, the receiver did a very poor job of attacking the football. That's day one wide receiver tactics. You go after the football. You don't let it come to you. And then the offensive line also have pressure in his face. I think he made the right read. I think the receiver and the offensive line let him down. So just to get that part out of the way right off the bat. But for the rest of the parts that are non-negotiable, really, the rest of the parts that really can't be argued for the rest of his performance, I mean, he had some amazing runs. He's extremely athletic, has great awareness already for the pocket at such a young age, which is really unique that you don't see too often. I mean, he could feel the pressure caging down. He's got his eyes downfield. He's looking to throw, but he can just feel when it's time to get out of there. And he showcased that multiple times through the runs that he had. Had a run that was about 10 yards to give us a first down. Very athletic. Put some great moves on some defenders there, making people miss. I mean, you see why that he had the second most missed tackles in college football in his conference. Because he's like a running back out there, but he has, the awareness and the pocket presence and the throwing ability as like an Aaron Rodgers. Mm-hmm. I was thoroughly impressed with his performance. I think I would give him an A- ranking, and just an A- for the fact that I'm just a tough grader. I mean, he really checked all the boxes.
Tough grader.
He really checked all the boxes throughout that performance. He kept his eyes downfield when he was looking. He didn't look to run first. I think that's a very good sign. A lot of young quarterbacks look to run first.
Well, that's, I think, where we disagree, because I think he definitely looked to run every chance that he got.
No, I think he felt the pressure. That line was very poor. You told me before we even started recording how bad the line had let him down. And it was very poor. He was forced to run, and he could feel the pressure. He had his eyes downfield, but after so many times of getting punched in the face, eventually you're going to start looking for the hand to come through. But I think throughout the majority of his time on the field there, he was looking down. He's looking to make plays with his arm. He's not looking to make plays with his legs. He just so happened to be blessed with the running ability of a Michael Vick, of a LaDainian Tomlinson, of a Marshall Faulk, Emmitt Smith. I mean, he seems to be everything and more. Like I said, he took command when he stepped out there, and it really showed. And that touchdown play, that was such a rhythm play. Like, you can see him coming from the pro offense, that he came from the pro style offense. That was a rhythm play right there. It looks nice and simple there, but that was on time, that was in rhythm. That is what a pro style offense when you're in college will translate to in the NFL, when you have somebody with the intelligence and the intangibles that Lamar Jackson has. And that ball that he threw that for the penalty, what would have been a touchdown, had they not sandwiched, what was it, Hayden Hurst that he threw that to? That's an elite quarterback throw right there. Joe Flacco misses that throw 7 out of 10 at least times, 7 out of 10.
Okay.
That's an Aaron Rodgers. That's a Tom Brady. That's a Drew Brees type throw there that he threw that in there. He put that in a window. That's like at the carnival where they have those rigged hold on. Where they have those rigged basketball hoops where it's impossible to make it in unless you thread it perfectly through. That's what he did on that throw, and I think that kind of encapsulates his performance. He was a lightning rod for the offense. He commanded the huddle. He commanded the respect, and it really just galvanized everyone in that stadium. I think even people at the Bears were kind of sitting back amazed, like, wow, this kid is something special. This is something that we haven't seen before. And it showed, because we won that game to a team that we lost to last year when Joe Flacco was on the field.
All right. 4 for 10, 1 touchdown, 1 interception.
Right. You got to judge what is in his control. Is in his control.
I think I'll just start with my grade off the bat, and then I'll go and explain everything.
Don't be disrespectful.
I'm gonna give.
Don't you be disrespectful.
Lamar Jackson a C+.
C+. Don't you dare get disrespect with Lamar Jackson like that. C+.
Lamar Jackson.
Are you high?
Looked to run every chance that he got. He wanted to show everyone.
No way. Pull up the tape. Do you see his eyes glued downfield?
Okay.
You would think he had Elmer Fudd eyes glued to the end of the field. He had his eyes down there.
I'm going to give him a C+, but...
That is so disrespectful.
But with an asterisk by it, that it's hard to judge anyone in this game. Because, one, everyone's just trying to get out there without getting injured. Except for Lamar Jackson, who, for whatever reason, when he scrambles, he's not trying to get out of bounds, and he's not sliding head first. He's taking these hits.
He's a running back. He's tough. He's a gamer.
If he wants to be a franchise quarterback, he needs to not take licks.
John Elway was a franchise quarterback. He dove into the end zone and took licks. Pelicaned him.
If he wants to be a franchise quarterback for a long time, he needs to not take licks. Especially if he's going to scramble often.
I mean, he probably should, but that's just the nature of who he is. He is a competitor to the highest degree.
He's going to become RG3.
He's a leader.
He's going to get one really bad injury, and then he's going to be done.
He's tougher than RG3. He's built of different material than RG3.
This is one game.
RG3
is the preseason to the preseason.
You see this paper here? You see this paper? This is what RG3 is made out of. Now, do you see kind of like some metal, dense metals here? This is the type of stuff Lamar Jackson is made of brick.
Okay.
He's a man's man.
From my experience watching the game, his offensive line was awful. I'll give him that. He's playing with third, fourth stringers.
So how can you give him a C+ saying that?
So how can you give him an A- saying the same thing?
Because you look at what was in his control.
We can't fairly grade him until I want to see him in game 3 of the preseason where he's actually...
I'm grading him based off what was in his control. When he wasn't put in a situation where he was running for his life, immensely pressured, or his receivers
There's
were
not
with the
many
second
other
string
people-
receivers that don't even know how to play past the high school
There's
level.
not many other people that watched Lamar Jackson play that game and was like, wow, what an electric player. Except for you. You are the only one.
I disagree with that. I disagree.
I think
I looked on
after
Twitter.
that
I looked on
performance-
Twitter. So, many people, even people on TV, Skip Bayless was enthralled by Lamar Jackson. Like, so many people I see, Lamar Jackson, people were
Are you
excited.
saying you
it was
agree with
electric.
Skip Bayless on something?
For
'Cause
once. Skip's an idiot, but I mean, he's got this one. I think even a blind man can see the electric that comes off of Lamar Jackson when he steps on the football field. The blind
Lamar
man in
Jackson,
this case
I
being
think,
Skip
is going to be a
Bayless.
really good quarterback. But after watching that performance, it's clear that this is Joe Flacco's team.
I disagree.
Well, even to be fair to Lamar Jackson, we're not running RPOs.
So hold on a minute. You just told me that you can't take much from this game, did you not?
Yeah.
But you're saying that you're taking from this game that he cannot be the quarterback as a Joe Flacco. So which one is it?
I can't fairly say anything until I watch him.
So you can't say that it's clearly Flacco's
and
team.
you can't
then.
clearly. I mean, the way that even like the
You're contradicting yourself. You got to pick one.
The intangibles from like the things that are in his control. Him scrambling and running head first. Dumb move. He shouldn't be doing that. There's a lot of rookie in him, which is fair because he is a rookie. And he's just not ready to take that step, in my opinion. He might play week 3 and really impress it. He might throw for 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, whatever.
So which one is it? You can draw something from this game or you can't. Because you're saying both things here,
Okay.
and the American people here are confused. They're saying, what is this guy doing again? He's also making no sense again.
I'm going to say you can
And
take,
Ooks will be the voice of reason here. Explain it.
Don't make me turn this camera. You can take things from this game, but not much. You can take what you said, what's in his control. It's in his control to try. He's trying to scramble almost every single play.
Is he not running for his life?
Yeah, I agree, which is why we can't take too much. But when he does scramble, he's doing things like running head first into things. You need to slide and give yourself up. You need to be trying to go out of bounds.
He's trying to win the respect of his teammates and show that he's a leader and that he's out there putting
But
it
if
on the
he's
line just
this-
like everyone else.
But if he's
a
this-
dog.
If he is a superstar
Yep.
that everyone claims him to be, and he's around third and fourth stringers, he should be able to take over the game. Should he not?
I mean, he is a rookie. He's going to be a superstar, yeah.
But he's not.
He's on the right track. He's doing very well.
Like you give all the time when I talk about Flacco, you said some quarterbacks can transcend, like a Tom Brady can turn these receivers into great people.
Don't even dare. Don't you dare say Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is not being paid $120 million. Lamar Jackson is on a rookie contract, so don't you dare compare that.
Okay. I'm going to compare it because you bring it up all the time.
Unbelievable.
Lamar Jackson is going to be a good quarterback. He is going to be our quarterback
He's going to be transcendent.
either next year or the following years.
So you're starting to switch on that. So Flacco's not the future quarterback.
I want him to be, but he's getting older. The style of
You're
how
seeing the
football
light.
is.
You're seeing the light.
Oh my God.
My work is being done here. I knew that all this stuff was not fruitless. I knew my efforts were not in vain.
You are going to bite your tongue when Flacco has a great year
I
this
knew
year.
that eventually I would get through to you, and my efforts have not been in vain. This is good. I can go home tonight feeling that my work is actually doing
It was
something.
clear since we drafted Lamar Jackson that he's eventually going to get the starting job. I've never not said that he's.
I believe you have. I believe that you've said that.
I've never said that. Go dig it up. I've never said. I think they took a first round quarterback.
All three people that are listening to this, or that may listen to this in the span of 1 year, 3 people that might listen to this, go back and check. I'm pretty sure that this has been contradicted once again by the contradiction master himself, Cakes Mitchell.
Lamar Jackson is going to be a good quarterback. I think he's going to make a lot of mistakes because I think he's going to try to be the player that he was in college. NFL is a different game. Linebackers are smarter. When he's scrambling out of the pocket, everyone on defense is going to be a good player. A top-level NFL-style player. And he's just not going to be able to take the licks that he did in college. He's not going to be able to leap over people like he did all the time in college. He's going to have to learn how to play a different kind of football where it's pass first, then run. I think they're trying to beam that into his head. But
I think it's in his head. Did you not see? He was looking to pass first.
He tried to
He
scramble.
had to run for his life.
He tried to scramble so many times.
He had to run for his life.
There was even some plays where there was wide receivers wide open, and he decided to scramble instead.
When the pocket's collapsing, you can't get that throw off. You can't plant your feet and make those throws when things are crashing down.
We're gonna have to wait for this discussion, maybe to after this game, week 1 of the preseason, and we can come back to this after we get more than.
I mean,
10
I don't
pass
have to come
attempts.
back. I saw what I saw, and I saw the truth. You saw it through a jaded lens because you're biased.
Lamar shows that he can be really good. He's shown that even the Hayden Hurst touchdown, I think,
Beautiful.
it wasn't that.
That was a
impressive.
rhythm, Tom Brady-like, in-sync, pro-style play.
That's him throwing to his only decent target that he had on the field.
And then also that throw that wasn't a touchdown on the penalty, that was a beautiful throw.
That was a good throw.
That was a beautiful throw.
But I think we're definitely going to have to wait a little bit longer until we get a definite answer about Lamar Jackson and not act like he's the second coming of Michael Vick like you are after one preseason.
Oh, he's better than Michael Vick. He just runs like Michael. He's got the physical gifts of Michael
You're
Vick.
already saying that he's better than Michael Vick.
He will be. I mean, he's not now.
You-
I know I said that. That's not what I meant. I'll clear that up right now. I meant to say
How do you know that?
How do I know what?
That he's going to be better than Michael Vick.
He's got the better intangibles. He's got the right character. He's tough. Michael Vick, as fun as he was to watch, and I enjoyed watching Michael Vick, he is a little bit more like RG3 in the sense that he's kind of brittle. He's small. Lamar Jackson's a tough dude. This guy's a dog. He's not afraid to get in there and mix it up.
All right. Well, we'll come back to this next week. Let's move on. RG3, he played a little bit.
RG3 and 10. Yes, sir.
Let's give him a grade. What you think about his performance and how he did?
You go first here.
Yeah, RG3, I think he played pretty well. There was that one where his one interception that was to Brashad Perryman hit off his hands and then it was intercepted. I think I saw somewhere, correct me if I'm wrong, where he would have had an NFL passer rating of 120 or something like that. And because of the interception, it was like 60, 69 or something like that. So that's pretty crazy. And also something I want to talk about with Brashad Perryman is that I've been the biggest Brashad Perryman supporter since the jump. And it's so disappointing that that's probably his final straw. I mean, I really thought if he made a statement here in the preseason, but he's already showing that he hasn't got over his drops and everything like that. So that's really disappointing. And if he doesn't make an immediate huge impact these next couple preseason games, I think we can call his career a wrap-up, or if anything, I think he's going to be definitely traded to another team for something, whatever we can get for him, because I still think that he could develop as a good wide receiver. I just think his head is in the wrong space. Baltimore is definitely giving him bad vibes, and he's not really able to bloom to the receiver that I think that he can be being here in Baltimore. So I hope that he goes and finds success somewhere else, but going back, RG3. Yeah, I think he had a decent performance. You can definitely tell that RG3 is not the same player he was coming into the NFL, because you could see him, he looked hesitant. He was in a situation like most of the game where he looked like he just didn't want to mess up. Like he didn't really want to try to be that electric player that he was coming out of college. He more played it safe. He did decent. He did pretty well, but nothing that he did really excited me. But I think his performance, at least at this point, kind of solidified. I think if Flacco goes down, they will probably put RG3 in before Lamar Jackson.
Wait, what? Wait, what?
So
we can hold on right now.
The Ravens.
Hold on right now with that blasphemy. Hold on right now with that blasphemy.
Lamar Jackson on the depth chart.
Are you kidding me right now? So, this is Cakes Mitchell, ladies and gentlemen. This is Cakes Mitchell. It's a little bit too early. We can't draw anything from this game. There's not a lot to really see here. And then I've seen enough to think that Robert Griffin III will be above Lamar Jackson on that. That's the type of ridiculousness that spews out of your mouth to these people. I can't believe that we even have anyone that listens to this that doesn't just turn this off when they hear that type of ridiculous rhetoric coming from your mouth. Are you serious right now?
RG3 played better than Lamar Jackson in this game.
Did RG3 play with the third string or the second string?
He played with the second.
He played with the second? Right. Who played with the third?
Lamar Jackson.
So, what is the difference in you saying that you can't judge anything from Lamar Jackson for playing with the third with RG3 playing with the second? That's what I need to know right now. Ladies and gentlemen, you can see the way he's laughing that he's completely trolling. There's no way he can be serious with this type of rhetoric.
RG3 has more experience. He understands this kind of football better than Lamar Jackson.
He understands going 3-10 is what RG3 understands.
He was also on the Redskins.
He made the first year he was on the Redskins as well.
Mm-hmm.
Made the playoffs.
Because no one knew how to defend RG3.
No.
So if you're the head coach, you have Joe Flacco, he goes down.
Yep.
You're putting in Lamar Jackson over RG3.
Absolutely. Hands down. Why would you put in someone that has shown consistently he can't? Didn't you say in one
RG3 played well.
Didn't you say in one of the past episodes that your availability is the best ability?
Yeah. Yeah.
So how can you count on RG3 to be able to be a backup quarterback for say Flacco goes out for 3 to 4 games? Mm-hmm. How can you count on RG3 to be that kind of stability while Flacco's out? RG3 is liable to go down in the very first game. He's made of tissue paper.
RG3 has more experience. You have to earn your stripes.
Losing experience, yes.
You have to earn your stripes before you can become...
So you're telling me you'd rather have someone that has experience, even though it's losing experience, over someone that is a proven winner?
RG3 looked good.
He was also with the second string.
Okay. I didn't watch Lamar Jackson with the second string. I only saw him with the third string, and he didn't look that great to me. So how am I, as a fan, going to just say, well, Lamar Jackson would have done better in the second string? I don't know that. All I know is that RG3 played well.
Did RG3 make any throws like Lamar did to that one that Hayden Hurst that got the penalty on it?
No.
RG3 made basic reads and basic throws and was able to capitalize on the positions that our offensive coordinator put him in because they put him in basic concepts, basic route concepts.
He also was making another drive down the field, and Perriman blew the whole drive. That was a good throw to Perriman, and because of that, it ruined RG3's drive. He would have had over 120 passer rating.
Okay. Passer rating can be deceiving. What was his QBR?
Let's look it up.
Not to mention, even if the QBR is good, he's playing with the second string. No, hold on. I'm buffering your point here that you've been back flip-flopping on. That you can't draw anything from this, but now all of a sudden you can when it supports your bias towards Lamar Jackson. I'm exposing you. I'm going to make a YouTube video, exposed. Cakes Mitchell. You're biased, you're jaded, and you're just trying to do anything you can to try and downplay Lamar Jackson's electric performances.
He's a rookie. He's not ready to take that next step. He needs a redshirt year. Let him learn how to become an NFL quarterback.
No.
I can't argue with a wall, with a brick dense wall.
That's how I feel. That's how I feel.
I don't know if it's going to come up here for RG3's quarterback.
Well, it's irrelevant according to you because you can't really draw anything from the preseason game.
It's the preseason.
Oh, but RG3 should be above Lamar Jackson.
But you have to take what you can get. It's the one game that we have to judge anything. I think it's meaningless nonetheless because teams aren't really trying in the first, second, third quarter. Even the fourth, teams aren't trying to win. They're just trying to.
It's not meaningless.
Evaluate players.
It's not meaningless. I think there's a lot you can take from it, especially the performance that Correa had as well.
Yeah, but if you look in the grand as an overall unit, players are in different positions. Like the offensive line is all jumbled up because you're trying to see who can play where. Maybe you're playing someone that usually plays guard at tackle. Like you're playing wide receivers that typically would not be in the game. It's just it's hard to evaluate any player until it's an actual NFL game.
It's contextual. There's flashes where you can gather things, and there's flashes where you can't.
But it's hard because there could be someone that's 90 on the depth chart, and they're in the game, and they miss a tackle to make someone look great. It's
It's contextual. Like I just said, you're just augmenting that with what you just said.
But it's hard because you had, especially in the preseason to the preseason, which is the Hall of Fame game, where nobody cares. You're just trying to get out there injury free, and everyone's just so excited to see Lamar Jackson, and who has
because he's electric.
Basically a piss poor performance, and you're hyping it up like
don't be disrespectful. Don't be disrespectful.
That was a piss poor performance by Lamar Jackson.
No, it wasn't. I can't even take you seriously anymore. Look at him laughing, people. Don't listen to this man.
All right, so
don't let him brainwash
RG3,
you.
his grade, I'm going to give him a B. What would you give him?
C plus. It was very basic. He had very basic route combinations. They set him up in a position that basically he was just a zombie out there just executing very basic things, and he did them okay. I think in any sort of pressure situation where he would be put with a first team or where he'd be asked to do more than what a Trent Dilfer would, he would revert to his proper moniker, RG3 and 10.
All right, so if you're the head coach, you're John Harbaugh, are you carrying... First, do you think the Ravens will carry 3 quarterbacks, and would you carry 3 quarterbacks?
I think we should. As much as I get on RG3, I think when Lamar Jackson supersedes Flacco and becomes the starting quarterback, he'll be a more viable option to swap in and out than Flacco will be to some extent because of his mobility. So I think having someone that can...
Sorry, I'm choking on your BS.
I think you're choking on your own. I think you're... Anywho.
What?
I don't even want to address you anymore. Just sit there and listen to me spew out this knowledge for these people that are trying to listen to an informative Ravens podcast rather than some biased rhetoric against Lamar Jackson. Anywho, like I'm saying, when Lamar Jackson supersedes Flacco, which is inevitable, it will happen. RG3 is going to be more equipped to deal with the offense once we change the offense to be more around Flacco. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that we probably should take 3 quarterbacks. I'm kind of on the fence about it. I do think RG3 is right now a better quarterback than Lamar Jackson. With the asterisks, though, I think Lamar Jackson quickly will surpass RG3 in everything. But right now, I think RG3 is a better quarterback than Lamar Jackson. So I don't know. It's tough. If I'm the head coach, I actually don't know if I'm taking RG3. I might just run 2 quarterbacks because I think it's super important that we take some more of these wide receivers. And, I mean, if Lamar Jackson is the future, I think you take Flacco, you take Lamar Jackson, and then you just kind of gamble it because if for whatever reason Joe Flacco goes down, he's hurt, he's injured, or it just plays really terrible, if Lamar Jackson is the future anyway, you just put him in. Whatever. I mean, even if we cut RG3, I don't think teams are going to be scrambling to pick him up. So if I'm the head coach, I think we should only run 2 quarterbacks. But I think the Ravens will end up taking 3, even though I would rather them take a chance on someone else that's on the team. Just to recap, I think if I was the head coach, I would only take 2 quarterbacks in Harbaugh and Lamar Jackson, because for whatever reason, Flacco does go down or plays really, really terrible. Lamar Jackson's the future anyway, so you might as well just put him in. And I don't think, even if we cut RG3, teams aren't going to be scrambling to pick him up. So if then Lamar Jackson gets hurt, I think that at least RG3 would still be on the market to pick him up. And I'd rather have that slot open to carry another wide receiver or a tight end, like a Max Williams or something like that. So,
what's next?
Next, we're going to talk about Correa and his performance in the first preseason Hall of Fame game. He played pretty well, had a couple sacks, was putting heavy pressure.
He did a forced fumble as well.
Yeah, he did. Mm-hmm. So he played well. Again, I'm just going to reiterate that it still is the Hall of Fame game. So I'm more curious to see how he's going to pass rush against like a better offensive line. I think that he played well. He's definitely impressive. He's definitely showing that it's probably a good move to put him at outside linebacker instead of inside linebacker. I'll be curious to see how he does in these future preseason games before he takes over that. I think Matt Judon's still that guy to be the number 2 behind Suggs, but definitely shown that he can be viable.
I mean, I was impressed. Like I said, the preseason can be very contextual of what you can draw from it. And I think if he would have just had, 1 or 2 sacks, it may have been one thing, but I think kind of the consistent output and the consistent impact he had on the game as a whole was something you can really draw from it. Like, he kind of took over that game in a sense on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, he had the sack, he had the fumble, he had some constant pressure, he was involved in a lot of things, and he was a big disruption for them. I think he was a key factor in the reason that we were able to win this game because of the disruption and the impact that he caused on the game. And I think that's something that will translate when you're able to really put that big of an impact on the game for your team's favor. I mean, even if he isn't able to impact a game like this when it's the first string, I think it's a sign and a flash of what he could be.
Right.
And what he can contribute, maybe not in the sense of taking over a game like this against first-string caliber players, but that he can provide some utility and he can be someone that we could put into our rotation, so to speak, for pass rushing.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested to see how he plays in, more so like game 3.
I mean, we have like 3 or 4 of these young linebackers. Imagine if we can just keep them all fresh and get a good rotation going, how good that would be for our pass rush. So with Suggs aging too, if we can keep Suggs in there when he's fresh.
Right, that's what I was going to say. It's like if you keep Suggs off the field and put him in situations where we absolutely need
pass
someone.
rush.
So keep Suggs for the pass rush stuff, and you have these other guys that you can rely on, because before even last year, we really only had Matt Judon.
I think we're really deep at that linebacker position. I think we have a lot of – I think we could potentially have kind of a rotation the way the Giants did in 2008. I think it's 2008, where they had about 4 or 5 pass rushers. I mean, I don't think that they'll be at that level that, OCU Manura, Matthias Kianuka, Justin Tuck, Michael Strahan. They're not going to be at that level. Right. Those guys are Pro Bowl levels. But I think we could have something a little bit smaller in that sense, a little bit less impactful, but still impactful and effective in terms of pressuring the quarterback, maybe not putting up the sack numbers, but a hurry or a disruption. I mean, that could lead to an interception or what have you. So I think that's a good sign. It's a flash that I was excited to see. So I thought he performed really well, and I thought it was a good flash that you can take away from this game.
Yeah, and something else I wanted to bring up. Didn't write it down. Not going to talk about it, but Kenny Young at inside linebacker actually looked pretty good. So excited to see how he competes against Peanut Alonso, or how you say his name.
Peanut.
So
the Peanut.
I think he looked really good. Excited to see how he does going forward. All right, so does this talk about our overall thoughts of the game, where you see the Ravens going forward, and just overall, how do you think the Ravens looked Hall of Fame game?
I think a lot of it, since we didn't see the first team, for how we're going to look for the season and going forward, there's not really much to be drawn from that. In the sense of, like, as a whole, when you're looking at it as a whole. I mean, you can draw flashes from individual players and things like that and the way that they looked when things were in their hands. But as a collective unit, there's not really a whole lot I can draw from it. And besides the fact that we went out there and competed with a team that did beat us last year, beat everyone in our division, I believe. I think the Bears sweeped our division.
So we should have won that game, though. That was...
I mean, they beat Pittsburgh. The Bears were no pushover. I mean, they didn't make the playoffs or anything like that, but they were a tough team, and we came out there and competed with them and got the W. And I think just for a moral sense, there's something that can be taken from that in a moral victory sense, that we got back on that team that did get us last year. But other than that, I don't think there's a whole lot to draw collectively. I think there's flashes. I think Hayden Hurst looked pretty good. I think Lamar looked amazing. RG3 was just kind of, there's not really much to take from there because it was so basic. And I think Correa flashed and stood out. And then, like you said, the mid linebacker,
Kenny
Young looked good as well, and we'll see what happens moving forward. The next few games will be really telling.
Yeah. Overall, I just want to make a note before I forget. This is actually our 9th win in a row in the preseason.
Really?
Yeah, we were undefeated for 2 years in a row, and that's another win. So I thought that was pretty cool.
It really shows you how the preseason just means nothing in a sense as a collective unit,
or how seriously John Harbaugh takes the preseason.
Yeah, maybe.
Where he tries to win every single game.
Maybe. Gotta love Harbs.
Yeah. So overall thoughts on the game. again, it's hard to take something from a game where people are playing very basic offense, very basic defense. No one's really doing anything crazy. But again, thought Hayden Hurst looked good. Thought Lamar Jackson looked okay. RG3 looked all right. Correa looked great. But again, it's the preseason to the preseason. So it's hard to take anything that we really saw that seriously. I think going forward, week 2 and 3 is where we start to like really evaluate players and how they're playing in the game. Even like this week, it's going to be a lighthearted game. No one's really trying. You're just trying to get out injury free, try some things, see if it works. But it's really week 3 of the preseason where the starters play at least a half, where you really start evaluating some players and some talent and who's actually going to make the team and all that. So overall, it's whatever. I'm excited to actually like watch some football. So that was the only thing. But other than that, didn't really take a whole lot from this game. It's cool to honor Ray Lewis. I'm glad that they allowed us to play.
Shouts out to Sugar Ray.
Speech was super long. I watched it this morning, and I thought it was a good speech. I mean, it's kind of your typical Ray Lewis elongated motivational speech. Thanking everyone.
I never thought that I would get here to see this day. Thank you, God.
It was a really good speech, but it's like your typical Ray Lewis, how you would envision his Hall of Fame speech to be. That's exactly how it went. So I don't know what this is.
That man could hype me up to run through a brick wall.
He could motivate me to fight a bear.
Yeah,
with my bare hands.
I think he could. I think he could get me hyped up enough to think that I could actually take on a black bear, which is about as ludicrous and absurd as some of the opinions expressed by Cakes Mitchell on this podcast.
All right, guys,
today.
with that, we're going to wrap it up today. Thank you so much for joining the Baltimore Breakdown. Again, my name is Cakes Mitchell. You can follow me on all social media, Instagram, Twitter, whatever, at just @Cakes Mitchell.
And follow our YouTube, man.
Yeah, man. We're putting these little videos up. We got the crappy webcam. We'll work on getting that a little bit better quality.
Yeah, anyone with that Indian Prince, donations for a webcam are also accepted.
So thank you guys so much. My name is Cakes Mitchell, and we got Ooks. This is the Baltimore Breakdown. We're out.